I was fortunate enough to go and see the pre-build down in Poole, and often with these things you get the 3D renders, the designs, and they look fantastic, and then you see the real thing and it's sort of, it's not quite the same. But I was actually totally blown away by the stand. It was better in real life than it was on the screen, just from like how the imagery came out, how the shapes and everything of the different wall sections turned out. It was really impressive, and it looks great, incredible. It's certainly captured the attention of people walking by, people kind of coming in, but it's drawn a lot of people in, and we've had some great discussions with walk-ins as well as pre-book meetings. So it's been very, very productive. Quadrant 2 design stood out to us for that aspect, the modular design. The fact that we can ship this to the US and have our team assemble it themselves relatively easily as well. That was a huge selling point. And then notwithstanding, the design itself was obviously done by the Quadrant team, and it stood out, leaps and bounds beyond the other vendors that we looked into. So it was obvious who we were going to choose to build our stand at DSEI. Branding is quite unique. We're a modern defense tech startup, so it's very AI. All the imagery is AI generated, so it does stand out from a lot of the other stands at DSEI, which has been great. And as I mentioned earlier, having our customers and our partners sharing the booth with us has meant that there's more to look at than just some flashy imagery and some wording. There's actually some interesting technology that people can come in, have a look at demos, discuss, and figure out if it's like the right fit for them in terms of what their problem sets and their needs are. So the booth setup is great. It's very open. It feels sort of a collaborative space, and it kind of encourages people to come in. So we're very happy. Everyone's happy. My CEO is very happy, so I'm very happy. In fact, we want to take this model in terms of how we set up the booth and replicate that with the other shows that we do across the world, so in Europe and in the US. So for us, this was very much sort of the path, the pathfinder in terms of how we adopt a collaborative booth when we do these big sort of trade shows. It's worked really, really well for us, and my CEO wants to sort of replicate this using this same model going to other conferences. So it's been a great success. It was a great process. I mean, the communication was really, really good throughout. We had a few tweaks and changes last minute, and the team was super accommodating. A lot of it's more about the wording and branding that sort of changed and evolved as we were going through the design process. I was able to then feed that information back to the design team, and they were able to sort of update the renders before it went to print. So it was seamless, and they looked at our marketing materials and our branding materials before they did the design, and so actually the first iteration there really wasn't a huge amount of tailoring or alterations required. There was a few imagery changes, a few changes to the language, but the design team hit the nail on the head pretty much from the get-go. So it was pretty easy to work with them to get the finished product that we have here today.